Hello everybody and welcome to Math 9R Algebra 1. My name is Katie Pelkey. I am your child's teacher for this year. So getting into some basic information, the course is called Math 9R. We meet every other day, but we are covering the Algebra 1 curriculum. Common Core curriculum is still the one we're using. If you take a look here in the middle, here's my contact information. I got my email there, katepelkey@esmschools.org. And then my phone number with extension. That's the high school phone number and the extension where you can reach me. I'm not always at my desk, so it's actually best if you can email me. Even if you want to actually talk to me, just shoot me a quick little email and say, hey, Mrs. Pelkey, can you please give me a call? And I will definitely give you a call and we can talk about whatever the problem is. A little bit about me. I have taught here at ESM for just over 12 years now. I started in February of 2008. Although this is my 17th year of teaching. I started at Liverpool and then I went to Auburn for a little while and then I came here to ESM and I have been much happier here. So as an educator, especially now, it's a never-ending learning process. I'm still learning new things, especially for this year, and I know my students are learning new things as we go. So together we're learning right along side by side. But my philosophy though, especially for math, is they got to try it. They can't just sit here and watch me talk about things. I can't just go over problem after problem after problem. They've actually got to start trying to figure some things out for themselves too. So that's why I try to always give them time to do practice, working on their own. But I like to be right there as we're working on things so that if they have questions, they can ask. And that's the other thing with this year, especially with the hybrid model or the kids who are completely virtual, students have to start advocating a little bit more for themselves. They have to be able to start talking and speaking out and saying, hey, I need some help on this. And then once we know that their help is needed, I definitely will be able to answer questions for them. This year, some goals that I have, trying to stay positive, trying to have everybody else stay positive, because that's what's going to get us through the year. Making sure we actually try our best, because that's the biggest thing. Even if mistakes are being made, even if they're not getting all the right answers in the problems, as long as they're trying, we'll get there. That's the biggest thing. Just sitting there not doing anything, that's the problem. Not giving up. It's okay to walk away from a problem sometimes and come back later with a fresh mindset, but we absolutely cannot be giving up on that. We have to keep working through it. Being realistic, learning to set personal goals. A lot of time, if you have a goal you're working towards, and then it's going to make things a little easier to execute to get to that goal. And then being a classroom citizen and actually making sure we're participating in class and not just sitting there as a bump on the log, as I like to say sometimes. Looking over on the right, there's our 8 units for this year. We're actually just finishing up Unit 1 right now, so we're going to be moving into Unit 2. Probably end of marking period 1 will be somewhere in Unit 3, if not. No, we won't be done with it. We'll be somewhere in Unit 3 at the end of the marking period. So as of right now, we got to plan the year as though they're taking a Regents exam in June. So they're going to be taking the Algebra 1 Common Core Regents exam, so I need to make sure that they learn more than enough stuff to be successful on that Regents exam, but also make sure they're successful going forward. So that's why that's my plan for the units. I'm always flexible, so if things need to change, things will need to change, but that's what we need to cover for that Regents exam. Looking at my grading policy, because this generally is a question of parents, this was on the expectation slides that I sent to students on the first day of school. I have it broken up into 3 categories. We have formative assessments. Formative assessments are assignments or grades that are taken to show that the students are learning. So we've got in their homework SEL, which stands for social emotional learning, which is a big push with New York State this year. Students need to be engaged and connected to school. So the social emotional learning, I put a grade in there once a week, and it's just a matter of, have you been connecting? Have you talked with me? Have you been in class? Have you been doing what you're supposed to be doing? If not, then come on, let's figure out what's going on. Classwork, short assessments. Classwork assignments, if they're not right, they're allowed to make corrections to improve that grade. Quizzes, which are your short assessments generally, I create corrections assignments where they can earn points back on their quizzes by doing the corrections assignments. Down bottom, we got summative assessments. Summative are the ones that encompass a whole bunch of information together. That's the easiest way to explain it. So like unit exams or unit projects, things along those lines, those would count as summative assessments. And the last thing is quarterly assessments. So quarterly assessments is supposed to test their knowledge of everything they learned for the quarter. So it's trying to get them to remember a whole bunch of information at once. Because with that Regents exam coming up, they have to be able to remember the entire year. So I like to kind of practice having them remember a whole bunch of information all at one time. So that's our quarterly assessment. This year I might do them a little bit differently than I have in the past just because of the hybrid model / virtual model that students are in. So we'll figure that out as we go. Online class expectations. I did share this with students at the beginning of the year. These were some expectations that I have when they are home because I need to make sure that they're engaged in learning. So being on time, muting yourself when others are speaking, raise your hand, or use the chat when you want a turn to speak. Keeping your camera on. This is a big one. I really prefer to have cameras on so that I can see the students' faces. A lot of time as they're working, if I'm looking at their face, I can see whether something's clicking or not. If they don't have their camera on, I can't see that. Another situation that I had back in the spring is students would turn their cameras off and then just walk away. So then I was talking to nobody. So if possible, I need those cameras to be on. I understand that there are some circumstances where they would be off. If your internet's not that great, I know turning the camera off can make your connection a little bit better. But if possible, please, please, please have those cameras on. Be respectful, pay attention, and then sit in a quiet place with good lighting. Get those distractions away, get those phones away. Make sure your TV's not on in the background. Don't be playing music. Don't have YouTube playing in the background. Quiet place, good lighting, so that you can focus. And then our last one for right now, a little bit of help. So if they need help with anything, there is after school. It is virtual, but there is after school. So students need to sign up. I need to know who wants to come to virtual after school so that I can give them a link to join me so I can give them some help. It's most Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and I use that word most only because once a month I have a department meeting on Wednesday, so I can't do after school on those days. There's a couple of half-day staff developments that are coming up, so there won't be after schools on those days. So pretty much every other Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, there is after school. And then some of these are sites that we're using in class, like over here we have Delta Math. Some of their assignments are going to be on there, and it's just a great practice website. IXL.com, again, they're going to have some assignments on here as well. IXL gives them an infinite amount of problems on any given standard that they need to practice on. So if you feel like your student needs extra help, they can go work on any of the standards that they've learned so far. They can even go back to 8th grade and practice some of the stuff from 8th grade that they haven't mastered yet. YouTube is actually not just for entertainment. Students don't believe me when I tell them that, but it's not. They can find a lot of videos. So if they're stuck on a problem and they can't get a hold of me, YouTube, go to YouTube, because YouTube, you can find videos to help you learn something. So YouTube, it can actually be quite helpful when they're actually using it for not entertainment. MathBits Notebook, again, another practice site. It gives them like little mini lessons going over different concepts within the curriculum, and then it gives them practice problems. And it lets them know how they're doing as they go on. And then Khan Academy. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Khan Academy. This is another good one where it's got videos going over concepts, and then they can do some practice problems also. So just a couple of other places where they can get a little bit of a help. So I'm hoping this year is going to go well for us. Again, with the whole virtual hybrid model, students need to be advocates for themselves. So they need to make sure they speak up. If they need help, they got to talk to me. There's a program that I use called Google Hangouts. It's basically like them being able to text message me. So they can send me messages. I can't guarantee that I'll always respond after I go home for the day because I do have 2 small children, but I will get back to them, and it's actually been working out well for the students who are using it. So again, Google Hangouts. is another way for them to be able to get a hold of me to ask questions. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Again, kpelke@esmschools.org. I'm going to put this little slideshow up in your child's Google Classroom, so you can always ask them, open it up so you can see it again. And then you've always got this video you can go back to. So I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you.